All right, y'all, Rick's Smiley Morning Show. Hey, the time right now is 23 minutes after the hour, y'all. She's a civil rights leader and on the front lines in Louisville. Please welcome a good friend of the morning show, Tamika Mallory, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Tamika, you know, it's always a blessing to have you on. You know, every time one of your videos pop up, you know, people always share it. And first and foremost, thank you for everything that you are doing to bring justice in the Breonna Taylor case. And people are in shock of the verdict that dropped last week. And, you know, and we want to know, how is it that the only one police officer was charged for the shooting into a wall, but not Breonna Taylor, which shows that a wall is more important to them than the life of Breonna Taylor.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Well, first of all, let me start off by saying good morning to the family up there. Love and appreciate you all for keeping Breonna Taylor's name alive and making sure that we're, you know, have a space to come to get the information out about what's happening in this case and so many across this nation. You know, it really was just nothing more than a grave miscarriage of justice. And, you know, unfortunately, Ricky, we've seen this story play out many times. 25 years of my life, I've been working in the social justice area and leading movements. And unfortunately, I've sat and listened to and watched families receive the same news over and over again, because this is an issue that is not just about Breonna Taylor or one city, one community. It is really a problem with how the system operates in general. When you hear the chances out there saying the whole damn system is guilty as hell. And it's not just a cool chant. It's real. From the court to the police departments, all of it is working together and working against black folks. That's how the system started. That's how policing started in this country, being a slave-catching force, if you will. And nothing has changed except the faces, but the system itself is rotten at the core. And Daniel Cameron, as Attorney General of Kentucky, is nothing more than one who is upholding that system. And he has made a decision and really drawn a line in the sand to say that I'm going to double down on the community that I support, which is the FOP, the Fraternal Order of Police, a racist institution. I'm going to double down and stand with them over black folks and over people in general who just who respect humanity. And so we continuously go through this, and unfortunately you can't get tired and decide that you're going to go home and enough is enough, because while it may feel like we're not getting anywhere, we're actually pushing this system to its capacity, and folks are having to deal with, for the first time in a long time, the system is having to deal with our cries for justice.
Well, will they release the transcripts from the grand jury trials so that that we can see, the evidence that was presented?
Unfortunately, Daniel Cameron, by himself, makes the decision of whether or not he wants to release that transcript. The things that we have working in our favor is that there have been other pieces of statements, like Kenny Walker's statement, released at an earlier time. And so the attorneys believe that because of that, he should be willing to release the transcript of the grand jury hearing. Also, the Governor Beshear, has called for Daniel Cameron to release those transcripts if he wants to. If he has been touted as being so perfect and doing things by the book. Well, if that's the case, then he should be willing to show everyone how great of a job he did. I don't believe it. We now have found out that one of the witnesses, and we knew it was a crock of bull in the first place, because all of the witnesses around Breonna Taylor's home said they heard a knock, but they never heard announcement of who was outside the door or who was knocking. This one witness that they came up with said that he heard the knocking at the door. However, he now is coming forward to say that there was some issues there, and it's clear that his story changed. In the beginning, he said definitely no, and then he went on to say that he did hear police announce themselves. Now, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not speaking in this moment officially for the family or the case or anything, but I watched the FX documentary, New York Times documentary on Breonna Taylor, and people can go and check it out because it's pretty good in terms of explaining some of the important things that happened there. The family is in it. You get to hear their voices. You hear from Kenny Walker. I was watching it, and I noticed that this gentleman, he seemed like he may have had some issues with understanding English properly. And he talks about walking out and trying to approach the police and hearing them yelling at him to get back in his apartment. Police, please get back in your apartment. It is very possible that they conflated those issues and used those two things to try to trick people into believing that he heard police at the time that the knocks were happening at the door, right, and not when he actually walked out of his apartment. But hopefully there will be statements from his attorney this week, and we will get to hear. I don't know if he has an attorney. I'm just hoping that he does. So again, not speaking officially, so that we can understand more about what happened there. Yeah.
Where do we go from here? Like, where do we go from here? And how do we continue to pursue charges for the other officers, or is it just completely off the table?
Well, the attorneys have now said they want to get those transcripts released so that they can see whether or not charges were actually presented in reference to the actual killing of Breonna Taylor. We don't know. And have reason to believe that the grand jury did not hear and they were not presented with charges specifically about Breonna. So if we can prove that, the families will then be able to call for a special prosecutor to step in and actually file charges, because double jeopardy does not apply at this point. The grand jury can meet again to deal with charges specifically for Breonna Taylor's killing. And so that is one avenue. But I think it is also important for people to understand, and I know folks don't want to hear it, but I heard you talking about it the other day, Ricky. If we do not go to these polls like we have never gone to the polls before in our lives, and turn out one in Kentucky to try to get rid of Mitch McConnell, because he is a major problem. He's the silent hand that is playing in all of this that's happening. Daniel Cameron basically works for Mitch McConnell. He actually idolizes him. And so that's one. We've got to make sure that people in Kentucky who are in pain, that they know that that pain has to go from the protest into the polls, and we've got to make sure that we are showing up there. And then folks across this country need to know that we have to change over the leadership in this country, not because we're getting the best thing, with the people who are currently running on the Democratic ticket. That's not the issue, because we hardly ever get the best. That just is not something that black folks have been able to accomplish at this point. But it is important that we have people who are reasonable enough that we can have a conversation with them. I would prefer to fight Biden and Harris over Donald Trump. He is a problem. And if, in fact, people do not vote in this election, I can tell you that more and more protesters are going to be harmed, and some of us will be killed on these streets, because that is the way in which we are being approached by police officers, and the behavior that they are even working with white militia groups and allowing them to be out terrorizing our communities. And the last thing I'll say really quickly is for Kentucky residents, Breonna's law needs to get passed where we ban no-knock warrants across the state. It's been done in Louisville, but not across the state. And so there are many reasons to ensure that you are a part of the voting process. Do not allow what has happened in this situation to make you get tired and disgruntled and decide to get out the streets and also not to vote.
Wow. To make a real quick, let everybody know if people want to reach out to you or help with the movement, where they can go.
People can go to untilfreedom.com. You can get all the information about our organization there, untilfreedom.com. Of course, on social media, I'm at Tamika D. Mallory, and I do, unfortunately, read the comments and get into it with people when I have time. Of course, yes, I do. And you can go to Until Freedom also on social media, and we're always around and always paying attention. And we appreciate the support that you all have given us and that the community has given us. You know, we can't ask the corporations to give us money to do this work and fight them at the same time because they are part of the same system in many ways. We have to be independent, and our people are keeping us independent and allowing us to stay out here in these streets, and we appreciate you all.
Ooh, I wish you was my history teacher. God, I wish. Boy, if I had somebody like you in my classroom, you good for students with ADHD. I swear I would have paid attention.
I have ADA. I need me a history teacher. I don't know what you're talking about.
Ladies and gentlemen, y'all give it up.
ADD.
All of it. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all give it up for Tamika Mallory coming up. Yes, sir. Hey, we absolutely love and support you. Thank you for coming on. We're going to have you on every week leading up to the election. We need to hear your voice. We need to get the vote out. Hey, Tamika, I'm going down to South Florida. I'm going down to the whole state. Just every city we on the radio in early voting in Florida. And Sabrina gonna come out doing something with Trick and Trina.
I'm coming. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be with y'all. Tell me the date.
Hit me up. All right. Hit me up, and we're gonna get you down there. So we're gonna make this thing happen, man. Thank you so much.